Why is it so important to get your planting population right? This planter had major singulation issues leading to a big variation in population across the field. With FieldView, we can analyze yield by population, and we see a 23 bushel yield advantage in the zones where we were dropping 34 to 36,000 seeds versus the zones where we were dropping 30 to 32,000 seeds. The farmer took a significant yield hit in those lower population zones because 4290 is a semi-fixed hybrid, so it has an ear size that will remain pretty consistent. And this is from 2023 when we had lots of rainfall, so there were adequate resources available to produce more ears per acre if we had planted at a higher population. This is why it's so important to understand the flex of the hybrid that you're working with and how that relates to your yield environment and your target planting population. Fixed hybrids have a consistent ear size across different populations, so they increase yield by increasing ears per acre and kernel weight. You can plant them at higher populations because they will put out the same sized ear, and in fact, they need to be planted at high populations to maximize your ROI. Otherwise, you're leaving yield potential on the table. We don't have any true fixed hybrids in this maturity zone, but 4290, the new 9417, 9621, and 10133 are all semi-fixed and benefit from higher planting populations. Flex hybrids have a variable ear size according to growing conditions, and they're capable of cranking out big yields in years when we have adequate rainfall. Flex hybrids increase yield by increasing kernel rows and kernels per row. You can generally plant them at lower populations because they will compensate by producing a larger ear. However, if resources are limited, they'll flex down, produce a smaller ear, and that's where we'll see tip back, or we'll typically run into stock issues as well. Flex hybrids can work really well in areas that tend to be moisture stressed because you can plant them at a lower population, but then if you do get the rain, they will use those resources and perform well, whereas a more fixed hybrid, if you're going in at a lower population, you're actually going to be giving up quite a bit of yield potential. 4205, 9494, 4574, and 4909 are all flex hybrids. Semi-flex hybrids are a happy medium and provide a little bit more stability than flex hybrids. They'll have the best yield results on variable ground and tend to be a little bit more consistent across a range of planting populations, soil types, and yield environments. So they often end up being our most popular hybrids because they succeed across the most acres. 4640 is a semi-flex hybrid, as well as two of our new hybrids that performed really well last year, 9111 and 9959. You can find ear flex ratings and general population recommendations in the seed guide, but talk to your rep about specific recommendations, especially on the newer hybrids. And as you're making your plans for the season, keep in mind that target populations are for emerged plants. You need to plant about 5% more when planting into nice conditions and about 10% more when you're planting into adverse conditions like cold or wet ground.